So my name is Caitlin Yardley, and in this video I will be talking about essential and transferable skills that I was able to learn and develop in keyboard pedagogy at Weber State University, studying under Dr. Eugene Young. And the first of those skills that I'd like to mention is that of communication. Communication is absolutely essential, and this class provided us with a variety of opportunity to practice different ways of communication. We were required to present, we were required to teach in both private and group settings, and we were required to write, all of which require different communication skills. It's very different to try to communicate with an audience that you don't really know about through writing than it is to communicate with a child sitting on the piano bench you right next to and a group of children. It's different than even communicating with your fellow classmates or your professor or the student's parents. All of it requires a lot of different skills. And a big part of that has to do with the relationship that you have with each one of these people. And that goes hand in hand with initiative, I think. And that's something that I feel like I was able to do throughout the course of this class, is even before we were waiting to go into class, the students and the parents would be out in the hallway while we were waiting for class to begin. And I was able to talk with the parents and to talk with the students. If I was group teaching, I'd be like, hey, I'm group teaching today. Do you happen to know this song that we're learning? Or different things like that that help prepare them for that. And even as I was coming out of class recently, one of the parents of my private student, I said hi to, and he came to me, he was like, hey, how is my child doing in this class? And we were able to talk a little bit about that and talk about maybe some of the concerns that he had, because he doesn't have a great musical foundation, is unsure of how to help his child in the best way. And a large part of that came because of the initiative that I was able to take to develop that relationship. A big part of effective leadership also has to do with developing good relationships. We were able to practice leadership in a way that is a little bit different than how we typically see leadership. We were able to practice leadership among children. And of course, being a good example in general is always the best form of leadership. And I think being a good leader as well also requires you to be a good listener, a good follower. And I feel like I was able to do that while working as a team with my group project partner, and she's amazing and has amazing ideas that I was able to learn from and support, as well as offer up my own ideas, my own things that I thought would be good, because you're equal partners, right? Group projects, you're equal. And the reason we were able to do that so effectively is I think because we had a good relationship. And throughout those group projects, we were required to analyze different books. So we had some beginning method books as well as intermediate books that we were required to analyze. And it made me look at a piano book in a way that I never really had before. I was looking at every little detail. I was thinking, how can this be helpful to me in what I'm choosing to do? And it was very essential to be able to look at something in a more analytical way, which is very helpful. Something else that was developed throughout the course of the class was flexibility and adaptability. I remember I had a specific lesson once that I was so excited about, and I felt like I had everything lined up, and for a variety of circumstances, it ended up not working out the way that I wanted it to, which required me to change on the spot a lot. But I was able to accept reality, and the things that I wanted to do were not going to work that time, and to be able to adjust to the resources that I had. The entire class is focused a lot on problem solving and critical thinking, right? How we see this problem like within our student, how do we help that? And personally, my private student had been struggling a lot with rhythm in specific, and being able to think of different ways, like how do I get her to where she needs to be and where I want her to be, requires a lot of critical thinking and creativity as well, right? How do you get from one place to another and help them to enjoy it and to be able to figure that out? A big part of being able to develop these skills as well was because of constant evaluation, and being able to identify problems as well, not just with our students, but in our own teaching, and be able to help each other with that. And I feel like I became progressively better at identifying not just the problem, but a potential solution in a way that would be good and get us to where we want to go. And those are some skills I learned.